Welcome back, students. This is our concluding video and ending up with the chapter. We are now going to discuss in detail the structure and functions of the plastids as well as the vacuoles. So when we are talking about the plastids, these are found only in the plant cells. These are present only in the plant cells, and these plastids are the cell organelles which contain pigments of their own. Contain pigments of their own. Depending upon the type of the pigments they are having, the plastids, they are categorized into three types. That is the chloroplast, the chromoplasts, and the leucoplasts. When we are talking about the chloroplasts, these are the plastids which contain green colored pigments. Plastids containing green colored pigments. When we are talking about the chromoplast, these are the plastids which contain various colored pigments. And when we are talking about the leucoplast, these are said to be the colorless plastids. Basically, in the green plants, the chloroplasts are present which contain the green colored pigment which is known as the chlorophyll. It is through this chlorophyll that the green plants, they are able to capture the energy from the sun and convert this sunlight or this energy of sun into chemical energy. That is, they can convert it into the light energy into the chemical energy. That is the very basic function of the plants, that they are capable of preparing their own food. That is what is photosynthesis is, and that is what makes the plants autotrophs. Now, dealing about the structure of the plastids. These are also double membrane structures. And a large number of the stroma and the granules are present. This diagram is not given in your NCERT, but it is very much given in your higher classes books. This is the stroma and the lamellae, and it also contains the DNA and ribosomes of its own. Basically, there are two cell organelles which are possessing the DNA and ribosomes of its own. One is the mitochondria, as we have studied in our previous video, and the second is the plastid. Both of them are double membrane structures. As you can see that it is also made up of two membranes, that is the outer membrane and the inner membrane, and it is enclosing certain amount of the stroma. Stroma is the fluid matrix which is present inside the the plastid, and it consists of a large number of the granules which are basically responsible for capturing the sunlight and converting it into the chemical form. This is the outer membrane, this is the inner membrane, then this is the stroma, This is the lamellae. These are the granas. This is the DNA, ribosomes. So, as I was saying that a large number of the granas are found stacked one upon the other, forming the lamellae, and these lamellae, they are present within the stroma, or the fluid matrix, which is present within the two membranes. And as I said that it contains a large number of the DNA molecules plus the ribosome of its own, which renders it to be semi-autosomal in nature. So this is all about the structure of the plastid. And talking about the function of the plastid, I have already told you that it is basically responsible, since if we are talking about the chloroplast, which is present only in the green plants, therefore it is basically responsible for carrying out the process of photosynthesis, that is capturing up of the sunlight and converting it into the chemical form, that is manufacturing the food for the plants. And when we are talking about the chromoplast, the various colored pigments, they also capture the various wavelengths of the sunlight, and then they make it useful for the plant in a number of ways. So this is all about the plastids. Now we are going to talk about the vacuoles, which is the last topic of the chapter. When we are talking about the vacuoles, they are single membrane bounded, and they contain some amount of the fluid substance filled within them. So talking about the vacuoles, these are single membrane bounded structure. Basically, in the plant cells, the vacuoles are very large in size. I have given this difference to you in our previous videos, where I have discussed in detail about the differences between the plant cell and the animal cells. But again, to revise that, I am going to tell you that in the plant cells, the vacuoles, they are larger in size and more in number. But in the animal cells, the vacuoles are smaller in size and least in number. I have given you the reason over there, what is the reason behind that. But here again, for revising a revision purpose, that is, we are saying that the vacuoles, they are differing in their shape, size and forms, and even in the number, depending upon the type of the cell that they are found in. So as it is, in the plant cells, they are more in number and larger in size, and in animal cells, they are least in number and smaller in size. Then these vacuoles, they contain the cell sap, and this cell sap, it is basically made up of a large number of the metabolites like water, basically proteins, carbs, various types of the nutrients, various types of the electrolytes, salts, ions, and etc. Whatever we can say, which are very, very essential for carrying out the metabolism of the plant cell. Not only the plant cell, as well as for the animal cell also. In certain cases, the vacuoles, they may also enclose up the excretory material as it is found in the amoeba. That is, they carry out excretory function also. So this is dealing up with the structure and function of the vacuoles, that the vacuoles, they are basically concerned with the storage of the metabolites. The function of the vacuoles is, they are basically concerned with storage of various metabolites, as well as they also do take part in excretion. That is, removal of the waste substances from the cell, as it is found in the amoeba. That is, the vacuoles present in the amoeba, they contain the digestive food material, and then these vacuoles, they move up to the the margins of the body, and they merge up with the outer membrane of the amoeba, and through exocytosis, they throw out the unwanted excretory material outside the body. So this is all about the chapter and we have read about what are the various structures of the cell and what are the various functions of the cell. Of course, when one of the function also is there regarding the vacuoles, then it provides rigidity to the cell. Since these are containing a large number of the electrolytes, metabolites, etc., etc. Therefore, it can it basically maintain the rigidity of the cell. Plus, it is also responsible for maintaining the osmolarity of the cell. So, they are playing very important function in the cell of the living organisms. So, here we end up with the chapter, and in this whole of this chapter, we have discussed in detail the structure of the cell and what are the various parts of the cell, what are the various cell organelles, and what are their various functions. How do they help out the cell in performing various activities in a precise manner. Thank you.